I I completely forgot where I got to the last time. Just let me
You
remember.
are in some way saying they had it coming.
And I explained why they got it coming. Know that, goddamn, like, yeah, they had it coming. That's what I'm trying to say. They had it coming. They deserved it. Like, I mean, if I had imagined, like, if I could imagine someone kicking into my own house and like sticking me into my own like toilet and leaving me there locked up without anything, like without my basic human rights, and they in my house without me knowing what they're doing, and like yeah, okay, so let me continue this and I'll wrap it up real quick. Okay, so if they had this, hold up, yeah, it's been going. Okay, so if they had done this to me in any kind of way, and like in a way that kind of like, let's say, forces me out of my own basic human rights, I would have a time in which I'm gonna have enough and go like, yeah, I've had enough. I'm breaking. I have to break free. This is an open air prison. I do not deserve to live like that, and that's that. So yeah, they had it coming.
And I
And hold on. Like what I was trying to like discuss earlier and like manage to say earlier is that like they have to keep remembering basic facts on why, like by following like the book, put the law, like the book of the law on the side, but like look at the book, like the Quran, the Bible, or the Torah. You wouldn't think Netanyahu wouldn't know what the Quran says about Jews or about like Zionists, but it clearly states that something's fucked up, it's gonna happen, and things are gonna take a turn. Netanyahu wanted to like build the massive state of Israel, which does not only include Palestine, but would also include Egypt, Yemen, and like Iraq and Saudi Arabia and all neighboring countries, kind of to overcome the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire went extinct a long time ago. But yeah, like it kind of, I don't know if that's a grudge or some shit, but like yeah, like it shows. So clearly, you who doesn't know this, like, or yeah, he does know this because he has like researchers or like um I don't know, scientists or like people who are strong enough or like smart enough to know how to tie like ends of a rope together, like cross proving like science to religion or religion to science. But nah, not everything. We'll just factualize what we think is right. Like that time, I guess Oxford University, or like there's another university, Canadian one. I don't know exactly which one, but like they were. Oh, you know what? Turns out the Islam was right, and the sun moves that way, or like the sun moves, yeah, moves that way. However, the Earth doesn't really just move around the sun. It also moves around itself, or like rotates. But like, yeah, like what's new about that? So like, or many other things that got improved through like the book, the religious books. So like, if you are still gonna deny that this is a religious matter, that this is a religious war, that this is uh, what they call ethnic cleansing is a religious cleansing, because Netanyahu doesn't like religion, I guess. I mean, like it. How can he be a Jew, but at the same time, like you see, this is the entire issue with constructs outside of religion, and just like the propagandist bias or propagandist problem, or like how Pierce earlier kind of perceive the idea or the word propagandist as a negative term. It's not a negative term. Like, most people, when they absolutely want to deny using religion as proof for things, they just come up with other things. They come up with other structured or structures for or words or definitions to like, I don't know, like justify what they're doing. A Zionist country or a state or what? Like Zionists, feminists, I don't know, like, yeah, like all of these are like basic human constructs. Like, humans have constructed definitions based on what suits them, and just went on making these things that suit them affect everyone around them. Bruh, like, how is this not that obvious? I said they deserved it, and they had it coming, and they did.
I think Ehud Barak is going to be on
Mm.
in a little bit as well, or maybe he's on
Yeah, he
before
is.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain that while he has held the keys to the conversation and held the levers of the power in this conversation in many key and critical points, I would go so far as to say that he is among many others who also recognize that the Bibi Netanyahu administration is responsible. This is not just my assessment. This is 85% of the Israeli population's assessment at the time. This is years and years and years of refusing to negotiate with the Palestinian Authority. Don't take my word for it. Take
No,
Bibi
no, listen,
Netanyahu's
I
own
would agree.
personal
Listen,
word for it.
I
In
would agree
2019, in a
again.
closed-door conversation with Likud members, he
Yeah,
said
listen.
that if you want to thwart any kind of Palestinian nation state, you must do everything you can to only negotiate with Hamas. We control how high the fire goes. He has given cash to Hamas
Right.
by way of Qatar. There is no bigger fan of Hamas than Bibi Netanyahu, which I hope one day you can maybe interview, and then you'll ask him to.
No, I actually did interview him a few
condemn
months
the
ago,
violence of
and
the
I
Israeli
did
government.
actually spell out to him that there have been a lot more Palestinian deaths this year so far, up to the point of the interview, than Israelis, and what he intended to do about it. He said then he didn't believe in collective responsibility, which is now this hot phrase in this whole crisis about whether you would hold all people in Gaza responsible for Hamas. Interesting to see if
Wait,
when they.
can I ask you a
Well, let me
question?
just.
It's interesting to say that holding all of the Gazans responsible. Responsible for what? For what Hamas did? No. Like, it's clear that they're not. They did not. Like, they did not join in on what Hamas did, but Hamas speaks for them. Hamas stands for them. Hamas is trying to free them and free themselves. Hamas is not a terrorist group. It's an authoritarian group that the Palestinian citizens agree to, in terms of power, in terms of opinion, in terms of like almost everything. And I would think, if not just me, and I hope it's not just me, that Palestinians have informed Hamas members to not kill anyone, like literally anyone, especially not like Jewish people. But again, that takes us to the to the human construct that separates between who's Jewish and who's Zionist, because these two things or these two identities should not exist within the same person. You could be born to a Jewish family, which makes you automatically Jewish, just like a Muslim, like a kid being born to a Muslim family makes him an automatically a Muslim. But as you grow up and have more freedom of choice for yourself, you cannot really, you do not have the excuse or the I mean the common sense or the audacity to say that you are a Jew and a Zionist. Nah, 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 nah. It doesn't work like that. You made your bed. You decided that you were a Zionist. You pushed along with the Zionist, and you had it coming. Point blank. You chose to be a Zionist. You chose to support, and not just that. I don't know if it's just me. I hope it's not just me. But did anyone see how like Jewish kids or like Zionist kids treat Christians, Americans, any kind of person that does not belong to where they to them visiting quote unquote Israel or the occupied state of Palestine? Like, was it just me who saw how they got bullied and treated and spat at? I'm assuming not. So that begs the question. Why do like strict Jewish people who like wear, I don't know what they're called, but like I'm gonna call them braids, the ones that fall like right beside the head. Why like why don't like strict Jewish people do that? It's because they respect other people's beliefs and religions. Most of them, at least. The ones who still wear that but act like I was saying right now is a Zionist, and they deserve what's coming to them.
Just finish my point. If they do then launch a ground invasion, it'd be interesting to see if they keep to that word. You know, I'm not a defender of what Bibi Netanyahu's been doing in Israel. In the last year, his attack on the credibility and integrity of the Supreme Court, I think, has been a disgrace, and I think it has fractured society in Israel. I also think that it's caused so much social unrest and had such big protests that you could argue it's taken the eye off the ball of the people who should have been defending the border because they've been trying to sort out what's been going on domestically, internally inside Israel. So I think it's a catastrophic failure of intelligence, of security, of defense, all of those things. I'll be amazed, frankly, if Netanyahu survives this. So I'm certainly not here to defend him, even if you do view me as a stenographer for his government. My question for you, I think, is this, is that I've had a lot of problems trying to get people on the pro-Palestinian side to separate two things. That you can say, as I believe and you believe, that the Palestinians have been maltreated for decades. That this situation where they are effectively, I mean, I don't even call it an occupation because Israelis aren't in Gaza. They pulled out in 2005, but they still control the ability of Gaza.
This is why I call you a propagandist.
I'm just saying the phraseology is confusing to me because the reality is Israel exercises control over people in Gaza. It allows them in and out. It allows them to turn on the tap of water and so on and so on. I get all that. They don't actually live there because they can't live side by side with each other.
That's why it's called an open-air prison.
Right. I don't disagree with...
That's why they call it the world's largest open-air prison.
Yeah, but Hasan, I don't disagree with you. And I have pointed this out for a long time as a journalist. So we don't disagree about the appalling plight of Palestinian people. But the issue comes that if you can't separate that ongoing dispute between Israel and Palestine from the absolutely appalling barbarism of October the 7th, which was on a whole different scale to anything we've seen, where 1,400 people, Holocaust survivors, babies in their cribs, young women taken, tortured, abused, shot, beheaded, it was reported, and so on. If we can't look at that collectively, with a general humanity.
See the audacity of this bitch. The audacity of this bitch, dude. Like, do you not realize that in the previous episode in which when you like interviewed Bassam Youssef, you said that you did not say, like, using your own words, decapitated. Like, what's the difference between beheaded and decapitated? Like, isn't that the same thing? And now you're saying it again. Double standards much? Hypocritical much? Like, what's going on here? Like, I mean, look at the face. Like, look at the confusion in Hasan's face. Like, the fuck? Like, come on, dude. Like, you have to be able to see this. The fuck? Alright. Alright.
And agreement.
Oh, and yeah, he wants to talk about like the latest attack in which Hamas started. Dude, yeah, it was horrendous, but it scaled nothing compared to what's been happening to them throughout their entire history of existing on this planet. I put into perspective, but do not include the question if they have the right to defend themselves. They do not. European countries fucking threw them somewhere because they did not have the ability or the mind power or the fucking will to accommodate them. And so they were like, yeah, stay there. And they chose by just staying there and having the backup of the US, of a shit ton of other countries, to just go on and wreak massacres over fucking slaughters on that land. No. You want to say that, well, as humans, they absolutely have the right to defend themselves. Yeah, if a rational human being knows their own history, yeah. If they feel that they are being punished for something that they did not do, yeah, okay. But like everyone in the world like knows absolutely too well that they did bring this to themselves. So
That is an absolute atrocity, then there's something wrong with this. And I find that the tribalism on both sides is now so toxic and so frenzied that you get people who literally can't. We've had a bunch of actors, right, signing this statement saying they want a ceasefire in Gaza and calling Israel.
بيتش محمد صالح ما حبش يتكلم اصلا وقت اللي اتكلم حسينه خايف. What the fuck are you talking about? Like he's scared for himself. خايف على روحه، خايف على حياته، خايف على مستقبله في ليفربول. خرج عمل فيديو تقول عليه تقول ايسس شادينه. Like and this, oh, by the way, ISIS has nothing to do with Palestine. As long as we keep this separated, we know who's a strict Islamic jihadist, like ISIS, people who execute with no right. That's a terrorist attack. But someone who has all of the fucking historical proof and evidence to do such thing, you still decide to call them terrorists. Why? Because, yeah, you associate terrorists with being Arabs. Doesn't mean if they're Muslims, doesn't mean if they're Christians, and it goes to show, last things last, like, after this, or even while this meeting is taking place, a church in Palestine got fucking rocketed, got fucking blasted, and it had 400 and I don't know how many people, but like 400 people and some other, and most of them were women and children. A lot of them died, a lot of them got injured, and no one knows what's happening. No one knows like their situation. All we know is that they keep arriving from one hospital to another because no hospital stays intact for longer than 48 hours or a week if we're if Israel's feeling good about it or merciless about it or merciful about it. The fuck, you really want to justify that to this? Damn.
Israel, war criminals, and so on. But they don't say a word about the Hamas attacks that precipitated this. And I find that
But you agree with them, right?
really hard to accept.
But do you agree with them? If they had said, for example, that October 7 attacks were brutal and massacres occurred, and then they said everything else, that Israel is committing war crimes, would you agree with them?
Okay, here's what I would honestly say about that. Is Israel not allowed to defend itself?
Exactly. And we're back to the point where you are whitewashed
From the worst terror attack we've seen since 9/11. Is it not allowed to defend itself
just odd.
after
You said you're not a
1,400 people in Israel
propagandist.
are butchered in that way? And the question then, if you assume that they are able to defend themselves, as any
Piers,
free
that is
democratic country,
that is the
then the
Israeli
question
State
becomes,
Department line.
Hassan,
That is the IDF's line. That is
Hassan,
the line that everyone
Hassan, let me ask
channeled.
you this. It then becomes a question of how can they defend themselves? If their mission now is to get rid of Hamas, a terror organization that's committed one of the worst acts of terror ever seen, if that is their state...
ever seen, huh? So back when Israel first came into Palestine, what, you did not have cameras back then? Oh, wait. Not cameras. You did not have eyes and ears at that time? Just like that bitch in the US who said, like, what if gravity was never invented? For real? In history? Yeah, in modern history maybe, but still, the terror attack that happened in the mosque in New Zealand was horrific. It did not happen to Israelis, it did not happen to Christians, it happened to Muslims in New Zealand. And who was the terrorist? A white supremacist. Same thing that happened in a church, I don't know, in another country. It did not, it wasn't like it wasn't because of a Muslim, it wasn't because of a Jew. It was because of a white supremacist. So how can they defend themselves? Well, yeah, with using white supremacists. By using white supremacists to kill innocent people and blame it on Muslims because they have launched an attack hoping to free themselves from their chains, or by having white supremacists rule the entirety of media distribution all over the world, controlling what people say and what people not say on like mega media platforms, like in between parentheses that would be TV and radio. Now on the internet, no one can handle them. Sorry. Now on the internet, no one gives a shit about them. Why? Because everyone has their own way and their own right to say what they think. And what I'm saying right now isn't what I'm thinking. And I'm not saying any of this because I know what I'm saying or have any kind of fucking script I can share. Like you can already see my script. You can already see my screen. And I'm already looking at the camera. What I'm saying right now is not my just opinion. It's not just my thoughts. It's not just what I'm processing through my head. It's fucking facts. And when you get slapped in the face by facts day in and day out that fucking destroy your entire understanding of the Arab world or of the Muslim like resistance, or tries to destroy your entire understanding on the Muslim resistance, people are gonna come out and speak out on it. I've seen a video like earlier in which, let me find it. Let me find it. Let me find it. There we go. Just a sec. There we go. Listen to this. Or let's just open it. Listen, huh?
Christian. Christian. Can you say any verses from the Bible? Any verse? Any verse? Yeah.
And why am I showing you this? It's because a lot of the Western culture, and when I say culture, I mean population. A lot of them are converting slowly to Islam. Why? Because they're intelligent. Because they're intellectuals, not bound by limits, bound by their own curiosity for discovery. Now, here's the difference between Christians and Muslims.
Chapter,
I'd say John
verse.
3:16, but I don't remember that. I won't lie to you.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Bro, I didn't read the Bible.
Never. Could you say any verses from the Bible?
It's I'm just thinking about it.
No, it's what's the name of your God?
Jesus?
Jesus. Okay. You know Jesus' mother?
I'm a Muslim and I know that. It's supposedly the Mother Mary the Virgin, but like, come on. It that just as the Bible or Christianity goes, as far as it goes, but even Christians believe that Jesus like got crucified, but well, when it wasn't even Jesus got raised. Like God raised him to his side, and like until he decides to send him back, and that's when humanity will end or be. Well, I mean, like considering everything that's happening with Palestine and Israel right now, I would say that the world in its entirety is coming to an end. Like humanity as we know it is coming to an end. It just depends on you if you know your facts or not. That's it. Just a sec.
No, I forgot.
Jesus' mother?
About that.
What's your religion?
Uncultured swines. Alright?
Muslim.
Can you recite
Now listen to this piece.
any 2 verses from Quran? Any 2-3 verses from Quran?
Any 2-3 verses?
Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث
والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات.
Christian or Muslim?
You see? That's the difference. People indulge in what they do not know, hoping to discover order and limitations, hoping to discover where and how they fit in, what they are supposed to live by, do by, and just go through life with. A very big difference. How are they supposed to defend themselves? Come on.
Stated aim, then what they are doing is consistent with that, isn't it?
No. Here's why this is actually an abject failure, and this is not just my perspective on the matter. I'm just a dumb idiot with a Twitch stream who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything as it's ongoing. I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated, but ultimately I am not held up by the same journalistic standards, even though I think I do a much better job than most other news outlets in general.
Yes, you do.
So let me just say this really quickly. You said Israel has a right to defend itself. Absolutely zero people think that this is a ridiculous statement. However, how Israel is defending itself is collective punishment. Now, collective punishment in the form of depriving 2.2 million people of electricity, collective punishment in the form of depriving them of water, of food, collective punishment of in the form of 51 people dying in the West Bank, where, you know, there is no Hamas in the West Bank, and yet 51 people have died because in the West Bank, settlers that are occupying Palestinian territory in violation of the international law, settlers who are doing an act of colonial terrorism, and this is not my statement on it, this is international law, that are doing horrifying things by simply just existing there and maintaining the presence with an occupying force in the form of IDF, who is ritualistically humiliating Palestinians in a structure that B'Tselem, an Israeli organization, calls the permit regime, where every waking moment of Palestinians' lives in the West Bank are absolute hell, where they have no legal recourse. 51 Palestinians have died, and that was before.
51 Palestinians died because the occupying Israelis felt like it. That's it.
For the Ramallah, the Ramallah protest that happened last night, and the Israeli forces were opening up with live fire on protesters last night. So who knows what that death toll has become? This is all a product of Israel being an apartheid state. This is a violent apartheid state. There is no way to be a peaceful
all right, Hasan,
apartheid
let me ask you
state.
this.
It is a violence. It is a violence required for its maintenance.
Okay, listen.
And that violence is frustrating people.
I hear
that
you.
That violence is radicalizing people.
But here's
Hold on.
I hear
as far as Israel, as far as what Benjamin Netanyahu has done, as far as the war government, what they have done, Piers, going into Gaza and bombing Gaza and killing 3,480 Palestinians so far in Gaza, 1,000 plus children out of all of those casualties, 22 hospitals being bombed, a bakery, the only remaining intact bakery being bombed yesterday. These are horrifying crimes that you would openly say are horrifying and unjustifiable when Russia does it, but when Israel does it, Israel has a right to defend itself. This is identical to the same talking points that I've heard from every Israeli administration official. It's the same talking points that I've heard from American politicians championing the exact same talking points. It's the same thing that I've heard from everyone else in the media. You might have been against the Iraq war, and you use that, but you're using that for evil, in my opinion, at this point, if you are not sitting here and condemning those acts of war crimes, those acts of violence, those acts of collective punishment.
Well, I would say to that I think the death of any child in this conflict is...
The death of any child in this conflict is horrifying and inexcusable. Dude, you are a hypocrite. Why? Because you jumped ship saying the death of any child. Nah, the death of any life. Okay? Because at this point, lives of Muslims and especially Palestinians to you are worth nothing. They have no value, either to you or to the Israelis or to the Zionists, to be specific. But yeah, look, I made my point already. I'm not gonna keep discussing it over and over and over again. Like, it's like the entire world can see what's been going on and what is going on. I mean, if I keep going back and back and back and back in my stories and on my Instagram, like, it is obvious. This is the actual footage proof that proves that Israel caused that hospital bombing. And here's the footage. All right. So these are the Hamas missiles going up that way, as you can see. The two explosions that happened on the hospital, there they are. Now what's that? What's that just came up right here? Watch it, wait for it, there it goes. Wanna know what that is? Wanna guess? Planes maybe? Sorry. Military Air Force? these are yeah. The flares to distract people with while the plane goes like out of view. There goes flickers, 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 flickers. Yeah, exactly. So the jet has like gone this way, went down through the explosions, and went back up again. Or at least that's how it seems to me. Okay. This is the Rock of Dome, not the Aqsa Mosque. Well, all in all, it is considered to be the sacred Quds. Okay? Let's not just like culturalize people about it or like give people more knowledge about this unless they actually want to have knowledge about this. US. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah. I mean, how could this be normal? I like listen to this.
What do you expect me to do? Fix it? I'm only 10. I can't even do anything this morning. I just want to be a doctor or anything to help my people. I can't. I'm just a kid. I don't even know what to do. I get scared, but not really that much. I do anything for my people, but I don't know what to do. I'm just 10. I'm just 10. All of this, when I see it, I literally cry every day, saying to myself, why do we deserve this? What did we do to this?
Same question I have, same thing I do every single day. Like, it fucking makes you cry whether we like it or not.
I want to send a message to the Palestinian child of 2023. And that message is a crystal clear one, that the people of Ireland stand with you. So Ireland must lead the way with real, tangible measures that shows the world, and most importantly shows the children of Jenin, that we want no hand, act nor part in the systematic destruction of the Palestinian people. We should, of course, seek to build consensuses and support from others, particularly within the EU. But we should also be very clear. If they won't move, we will. Government must immediately move to progress the illegal Israeli settlements divestment bill 2023. The bill simply prevents Irish taxpayers' money from being invested in companies that profit from Israel's illegal occupation and settlement expansion. Wait 9 months, says the government, just as every child of Palestine since the Nakba of 1948 have been told to wait. Likewise, when it comes to recognising the state of Palestine, the official position of this House, wait, says the government. For the Palestinians, it is always a waiting game. Meanwhile, our government complies with EU accelerated procedures when it suits Israel. Israel actually enjoys what is officially called a preferential trading relationship with the European Union that is worth billions of euro in trade to a state that ignores, disregards and breaches UN resolutions and international law. I want to send a message.
Every single day. Every single day since 1948. Oh, yeah, this is the hack that happened on the Israeli TV channel. Yep. The login of the Egyptian hacker. Fox Android. Yep. Jerusalem, Al-Quds, where the Rock of Dome is the capital of Palestine, not Israel. Oh, yeah, this is what I've been talking about earlier in the previous stream. The proof that Palestine existed as a government even before like Israel came into it. Watch this. Someone came at her on the comments and was like, the Palestinian identity is fake. It was made up by the KGB in the 1960s. Alright, piece of shit. her grandfather's passport from back in 1939. Like I said earlier. Well, I said somewhere between 1938 and 1930. But yeah. Identity card in 1937 and 1938. Yeah. And it says here, government of Palestine. Pause it, like look at it sideways. Like you can find this video anywhere on like they're like Janan Matari. Like you can go ahead and follow her and like check that out for yourself. Peace out. Oh. Oh, this is a this is a Jewish imam. I don't know what they're called in like Judaism. Like a priest or some shit. And he was speaking. I'm assuming he is a priest or like a Jewish priest or something like that. But like here's what he said.
يريدون تاريخا لنا لا يريدون استقلالا لنا.
مع البعض يحاول دائما أن يظهر الموضوع وكأنه مسيحيي فلسطين محيدون، إنما يتعرضون لأبشع أنواع الاضطهاد.
تعرضوا للصحفية شيرين أبو عاقلة وحاولوا إسقاط تابوتها، ولكن المسلمين في فلسطين.
Oh, yeah, this is a Christian Arab priest or imam.
رفعوا التابوت ودافعوا عن تابوت شيرين أبو عاقلة، ولو كان هذا شيخا لا دافعت عنه كما دافعوا عن شيرين. وأنا أقول لك كما قالها الأب منويل مسلم مرارا وتكرارا، خليهم يمنعوا الإخوة الإسلام في فلسطين أن يرفعوا الأذان، ومحسوبك اللي قاعد هون أنا برفع الأذان. يريدون تاريخا لنا لا يريدون استقلالا لنا.
مع البعض يحاول دائما أن يظهر الموضوع وكأنه مسيحيي فلسطين محيدون، إنما يتعرضون لأبشع أنواع الاضطهاد.
تعرضوا للصحفية شيرين أبو عاقلة وحاولوا إسقاط تابوتها، ولكن المسلمين في فلسطين رفعوا التابوت ودافعوا عن تابوت شيرين أبو عاقلة. ولو كان هذا شيخا لا دافعت عنه كما دافعوا عن شيرين. وأنا أقول لك كما قالها الأب منويل مسلم مرارا وتكرارا، خليهم يمنعوا الإخوة الإسلام في فلسطين أن يرفعوا الأذان، ومحسوبك اللي قاعد هون أنا برفع الأذان.
And why he said that? And why is this an epic moment? Because he's a priest, he's a Christian priest, and he said if they keep denying Muslims to have the adhan, the prayer, he will launch it himself. So you have to admire that.
Israel. We stand with Israel. The United Kingdom stands with Israel, and as we stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. The United Kingdom stands with Israel, an der Seite Israels steht.
Yeah.
All these politicians speaking in the name of their country and saying we stand with Israel. Who is we? How can you say we stand with Israel when you are there to represent the millions of people of your country? You have no right to abuse the power you have as a politician when you are only employees of the people.
We stand with
The people know, as I've said it before, and now I said it again. The people know. There's nothing you can do about it. The end is nigh, and let it come. I'm done here. Yeah, I'm done here. Bye.